So here in Prescott, Arizona for the Africa Twin Adventure Sports press event, so where they show the press all this stuff. They asked me to come and talk about the bike and the previous version of the bike and how it worked on my around the world trip. So doing a presentation, get to ride tomorrow, and then do it again on Wednesday and Thursday. But check out this room, Hotel Saint Michel. Hotel Saint Michel. It's like built in 1671. I just made that up. But all old school. It's funny, I came in and I had to use the potty so bad, and I thought, oh, this is the bathroom. And I walked all the way into the closet before I realized it wasn't the bathroom. Nice little welcome package. Aces. So here in Prescott, Arizona at the Honda Africa Twin Adventure Sports press event, we're just setting up. We're going to do a presentation about my bike that went around the world. And these are all press people and Honda people. Anyways. And then tomorrow we get to ride the bikes. Do a 140-mile loop. Gonna do it twice. So I didn't get to ride the Adventure Sports today because all the press were on those bikes. I'll get to ride them tomorrow. I'm here for 4 or 5 days. These guys are, there's 2 waves for 3 each. Anyways, this is an Africa Twin motorcycle club. These are all the Adventure Sports in front of me. I'm on a DCT. Either that or the gear shifter is broken. Say hi, Simon. So this is day 1. I'm riding a 17 standard Africa Twin. Tomorrow the press changes. There's a new group that comes in. They're down there. And I'll get to ride the Adventure Sports version. But it's been fun out here. We've done about 70 miles. And we're going to do another 80 miles. And then we're going to have cold beers. So today is day 2 of the event, and it's pretty early in the morning. Nice bus, and I'm going to go with Jason and ride around, take some pictures, and have some fun before the second round of media shows up. Stay tuned. All right, today's the day. Jason and I are gonna do a little 100-mile loop, or I don't know, it might be 50 miles. 100 miles sounds better. Africa Twin Adventure Sports. Giddy up. You're wondering, this is the trailer that they bring them in. Adventure Sports. So they're doing a photo shoot for the official photo shoot for Honda. Big production here. Fancy. This is a guy that knows what he's doing. I don't know why I'm being quiet. They're not using sound. I rode the regular CRF from 17, the same bike that I have, for 1 day. Then I rode the Adventure Sports for 2 days, and I just got back from that try. But I have the doctor of all Africa Twins here. He's actually he's the guy that probably knows the most about Africa Twins in the world. Yeah, this is Colin from Honda.
How's it going?
So when they talk about motorcycles and they say have a DNA, they actually use this guy's DNA to create the bike. So it's like a little child of his. So the first thing that you get is the whole electronics package. So you get heated hand warmers, and you get the 12-volt electrical socket. Am I right?
Yep.
The second thing that you get is you get the light bar. Now, some people call this a light bar, some people call it a crash bar. It's called a light bar. You can use it for a crash bar. In my opinion, it's not like a real crash bar, but for minor falls, it'll probably protect something. Am I allowed to say that? Now, a big improvement also to the Adventure Sports, and this also carries through on the base model, is you get the LED turn signals, these sexy little things. Oh, they're so good. I wish I had those. Another thing is you get standard is you get the tall windscreen. You get the skid plate, which skid plate wraps around a ton more. So this is a skid plate, in fact, that I don't think that you need to replace with an aftermarket as opposed to on the base model. Now, coming around to the cockpit, you'll see you get bar risers. Anyways, it brings the bars up, so in the standing position, in my opinion, the bike is in a perfect place. So, suspension. It still has the same characteristics on the suspension as my bike and the 17 bike, but in this bike they increase the suspension travel by 0.9 inches, so let's just call it an inch. So you get a little bit more fork travel, and that also translates into the higher ground clearance for this bike. It has a 2-inch higher ground clearance. Okay, so coming back up to the cockpit, well, let's call it the cockpit, the tank. This is a whoa, don't tell me. It's a 24 liters?
We got basically like 1.6 gallons extra, so we got about 300 miles on this tank.
300 miles on this tank. What that also relates to is a throttle by wire system, which personally I don't know, I can't really tell. But what the most important thing that does is what I've told is that increases the fuel efficiency. So the bike will get better fuel efficiency with that. Am I right?
Yep, that's how you get the extended range.
Extended range. The bike does, in fact, like this bike for the same track, this had 3/4 of a tank or just above a half a tank in the base model. The bike that I ride was down to the last bar, so probably about 10%. Okay, I gotta get, hello? So here's the biggest change, and actually this and the gas tank are one of the what I hold is the most valuable thing for the upgrade to the Adventure Sports. So you'll see not only do you get just a new instrument cluster and an instrument cluster that's pitched up a little bit with the sun shield, but you also get a new electronics package where you can control the power, the engine braking, and the torque control, which is really traction control, but they don't call it traction control. And moreover, within that, compared to my bike, so the 16 or 17, in the torque control, you get 7 different options rather than 3. Now, frankly, on my bike, I usually have the torque control either on or off. With this bike, you can use it. 1, 2, 3 is the best for my range of riding, where it just gives you a little bit of torque control rather, if the back end slips out. So I have no idea what I'm talking about with the engine braking, so we're gonna have to bring Colin on this one. So explain.
So the 3 modes, you got basically the 3 settings. You got the power, engine braking, and torque control, and the power and engine braking are both part of the basically the fly-by-wire system. So it allows it to deliver that power in 3 different settings on the power section, and then engine braking control, which also is controlled through the fly-by-wire. So you can have 3 different settings just to set it up for yourself through like a user mode that basically when you turn the bike off, turn it back on, it stays in that mode.
Which is new because generally when you shut off the bike, everything was changed and it set back and you had to reset the bike. So that is a big thing. They have a mode that you can set and personalize for yourself. So every time you turn the bike on and it's in that user mode, it goes to your settings. That's an ACES improvement. So I'm probably gonna have to have Colin explain this, but in the engine there's cam balancers that are on the cam thing. And they made them, this is my stupid explanation, they made them lighter.
Yeah, so basically there's a balancer in the front of the engine, and then also one that powers the oil pump kind of just behind the crankshaft, and both of those balancers were light.
Okay, so as you may or may not know, on my bike, there was the right foot peg perch, and it was precarious because some people were falling on it, it was breaking off, but they've changed it and it's no longer a, what kind of metal?
It's now steel versus aluminum.
It's steel versus aluminum, so it's not going to snap, hopefully. on the Adventure Sports, they've done a couple of little refinements. Like there's a little case where you can put stuffs in here, your delicates or anything you want in there. We put a front tube in there, and it actually fit. It's a cute little spot. They had a little void in there, and they just, with the Allen key, you can take that off and utilize it for whatever you want. Oh, the exhaust. I personally can't tell the difference. They say that it's shorter, and also instead of, in my bike, it had a 3-chamber exhaust. This has gone to a 2-chamber exhaust. So in the rear shock, I don't know if you can see in there, they painted it blue. Oh yeah, and also you get, so they painted it blue, and you also get 0.8 more inches of travel, and that also contributes to the higher ground clearance of nearly 2 inches. The seat, oh, look at that seat, so good. They've lowered the seat, give you the this isn't actually in the lower position. You can see there's a little gap here. They lowered the seat, they widened the seat, and it is in fact more comfortable. This is like one of the most important things that I've done. You guys ready for this? So if you remember, I was bitching, excuse my language, bitching about the bolts for the pillion foot peg perch. They were sticking out, and since I couldn't go so far forward with my tank bag on there, that my calves were hitting it, well, they put the mounts from the bottom. Genius. It's like flush, so comfortable. Nothing hitting my legs. Okay, and so the last thing, I think it's the last thing, yeah, it's the last thing, is that in this bike, they have put a lithium ion battery. I can't show it to you because it's deep in the bowels of the bike, but it's a lithium ion battery. It saves 5, not 1, 2, 3, 4, but 5 pounds on the whole bike. So that's amazing. I'm gonna actually think about putting one in my bike when it goes. So, Colin, what did I miss?
Man, you covered just about everything.
So people are gonna ask, what's the difference in 2018, because many of these refinements also happen to the base model. What is the difference between the 18 base model and this model?
So this one does have the bigger tank, longer travel suspension. It does come with like a couple extra things like the skid plate and the rear rack and light bar standard and heated grip, so you do get some accessories. But I mean, if you added it up, actually, the accessories that are bolted onto this are about 1,400 bucks, and the price difference between the two bikes is 1,500 bucks.
Yeah.
So you're getting longer travel suspension and the tank for basically just the price of the accessories.
Yeah. So in my opinion, this bike is actually for the 1,500 bucks or whatever it is that you're going to pay to get this above the base model. It's worth it. It's worth it because of the gas tank mainly. It's worth it because of the increased ground clearance. I'm 5'10", 32-inch inseam, and I'm able to touch the ground. I'm on the high balls of my foot. And also the last thing, which I really enjoyed, and it seemed overwhelming, but after about an hour on the bike, I was able to conquer the electronics package. So CRF 1000 L2, Adventure Sports, Africa Twin. Thanks a lot, buddy. Thank you.
Yeah, hope you had a good ride today.
I did. So here's the man, the myth, the legend. This is Jason. He led us on all the the route that we did today. And Jason is pretty much, when you talk about motorcycles, he's a badass. He's gonna get all shy probably and not want me to say this, but this guy won Loretta Lynn. Did you?
Yeah. I did.
Who does that? And did you win the 6 days?
No. Never raced really off-road. Did a lot of endurance racing.
But you won some other stuff you were telling me.
24-hour.
He won the 24-hour.
About second, actually.
Second.
Yeah,
Not that bad. We'll accept that.
First loser.
But Loretta Lynn, that was like the thing that improved me. And the boy can ride the wheels off of a motorcycle. Thanks for everything, man.
Yeah. Thank you for coming.
All right, so I'm back from testing the Africa Twin. It's been a couple days, sorry for the delay. Anyways, wanted to give you an update. So the biggest question I'm gonna have is the bike worth buying? Yes, the answer is the bike worth buying over the standard model. You get a larger fuel tank, you get the accessories, you get the higher stance, and you get the option, the light bars. So that coupled with the other things, the value is actually there, because just to buy the heated hand grips and the 12-volt socket and the light bar would be like 1,500 bucks. So Africa Twin Adventure Sports is really worth the money. I recommend it. I really enjoyed riding it, and maybe you want to rethink the DCT. If you have any questions, write them down below. If you would, you could subscribe up here. Thanks for watching.